everybody, I'm Sandy Wolters and welcome to Sandy Spotlight. I'm sitting here today in my rose garden on a beautiful spring day in Tempe, Arizona. So, I hope we can get past the bird noise. Hopefully they'll be quiet. They hear me talking out here and they want to join in. So, anyways, I've got such an exciting spotlight for you today. I have Scott Nagele here, and he's put together a collection of short stories called A Smile Through a Tear. And I'm not going to tell you too much about it because he's here himself to tell you about it. But I want to give you my impressions of this collection of short stories because I just loved it. It's set up in two parts. The first part is lighter stories. And when I got to the end of the first part, I was a little disappointed because I enjoyed it so much. And I knew that the theme of the stories were going to change and they were going to become a little darker. They were going to change. And I just enjoyed the first part so much, I didn't know how I felt about, Scott changing the theme on me. So I read the first story in the second half and it blew me away. I cried. It was fabulous, and as it turned out, I enjoyed the second half even more than I enjoyed the first half. So thank you, Scott. Another thing I want to talk about with short stories is I'm a really busy person, and I know a lot of you people out there are really busy. I'm also an avid reader, and I do this blog, and I read a lot for this blog, but if I pick up something for myself to read, I find that I get a little overwhelmed if I pick up a full-length novel because I know it's going to take me time to get through it. Even if it's one that I've wanted to read. I've got several that I've wanted to read for quite a while, but it just takes a while. It takes up quite a bit of my time, and I have to find time to do that. The great thing with short stories, like a collection of short stories like Scott Nagele's A Smile Through a Tear, is you can read one story and be completely fulfilled. And, it could take you a half an hour, it could take you 45 minutes, but you're fulfilled after that. And you can set the book down and not worry about it until you have time to pick it up and read another story. So I highly recommend short stories. A couple of things I want to congratulate Scott on, too, is he and his lovely wife and his beautiful son have just recently had a baby. I believe it's been actually within the last week or so. So congratulations, Scott. I can't wait to see pictures up on Facebook. And also, Scott had submitted one of his books. It's called A Housefly in Autumn to the 2012 Amazon Breakthrough Novel Contest. And that novel is now a quarterfinalist. So I'm so excited for you, Scott. You can pick up the first 5,000 words as an excerpt that Amazon has released for free for A Housefly in Autumn. And check it out. So I'm so excited for you, Scott. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. Also, one more thing. For authors out there that give away swag on blog posts and blog tours, I just want to let you know that we do, those of us that receive the stuff, wear it and use it. So, Reagan Black, thank you for the t-shirt. Okay, well, you guys have a great week, and join us over at the book discussion if you've read the book. If you haven't read the book, pick it up, and you can join us over there. So, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, I'm Scott Nagele, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about my collection of short stories called A Smile Through a Tear. Before I do that, I just want to take a minute to thank Sandy Wolters for inviting me to be featured on Sandy Spotlight. If you're an indie author and you know Sandy, she's probably helped you promote at least one of your books. So thank you very much, Sandy, for what you do for all of us. To talk a little bit about my collection, A Smile Through a Tear, the first thing I want to tell you about it is why it's named A Smile Through a Tear. The book is divided into two sections. The first section is called The Smile, and the reason it's called The Smile is it's 9 humorous stories. Hopefully will make the reader smile as they go through them. The second part of the story is called Through a Tear. And this is kind of a cue that the stories in the second part of the book are more heavier, in some cases darker stories than the first section. So it's a smile through a tear. So that's the title of the book. One of the reasons I really love this book is because of the variety in it. And it's not just the variety between humor and dramatic stories. There are a lot of variety of styles between the different stories in this book. The settings are all vastly different. Some of the stories are historical, some are contemporary, and there's even one that's futuristic. And there's just a lot of different points of view. So it was really fun to put together. I don't want to try and talk about all the stories in the book because we'll quickly run out of time. I just wanted to mention a couple of the stories. And the first story in the book, actually, in the Smile section, is called The Message. And I was lucky enough to be able to have this story published in the Berkeley Fiction Review before I put it into this book. And it's a story about kind of a cocky, up-and-coming, young go-getter guy who lands a job as a VP in a telephone company. And it's his first day at work. And because it's his first day at work, all he really has set up for him is a desk with a telephone on it. And his only job that first day is to wait for a very important call from his boss. This project is really kind of the reason that he was hired in the first place, so he really needs to get this call. So he was just going to stay in his office and wait for the call, but it turns out he had drank a lot of coffee that morning, so he has to go to the men's room. 5 minutes later, he comes back from the men's room, and sure enough, there's the message indicator on his phone is lit up. So it's got to be the call from his boss. So he goes to listen to the message, and lo and behold, he has no idea how to retrieve this message. So the whole story is about this cocky young VP of a phone company trying to get his employees to make him understand how to use his phone without letting them know that he doesn't know how to use his phone. He has no clue. So it's really a fun story with a little surprise twist at the end. And I don't want to give any more of it away. What I will say is if you have a Kindle and you download this Kindle sample for A Smile Through a Tear, you'll get this whole story. So you could read the whole story for free if you like. The second story for the book that I want to briefly mention is the last story in the book in the Through a Tear section. And that is a story called Mr. Humboldt's Merriest Christmas. This is a really special story to me, probably rewritten it about 100 times. And I don't know if I've ever chosen words for a story as carefully as I chose for this story, because every word means something, and then underneath it, it has to mean something else. So this is a story about a hard-working guy who's worked a long time just to be moderately successful. And it's Christmas Eve, and forces outside of himself have kind of conspired to make this the perfect Christmas for him. It's everything he's always wanted Christmas to be. Well, the problem is there's a price to be paid for this. And it's a rather large price. And what I hope to leave the reader with at the end of this story is kind of a question about what is happiness and what is the price worth paying for a certain amount of happiness. And I hope that's something that sticks with the reader after they put the story down. So I want to thank Sandy again for inviting me to be here. It's been a lot of fun doing this. And to everyone else, if you've stuck with it and made it this far, I can relieve you and let you know that this is the end. We made it. So thanks. Bye-bye.